Today we're going to talk about rice. Rice is a crop. Of course, it is a very important task that is indispensable in any trip, whether in the Arab world or in the whole world. Today we will discuss the differences between two very important types of rice, Egyptian rice and Basmati rice. Egyptian rice, that is, of course, there are many people. You think that Egyptian rice is necessarily rice grown in Egypt, but this statement is of course not true from an agricultural scientific standpoint, because this Egyptian rice is a variety that does not originate. It means the rice that we see in all countries of the world under the name Egyptian rice. If any Egyptian expatriate in Arab countries, he will find in the supermarket written many varieties of Egyptian rice, but if he flips through the package he is buying, he will find that the country of origin of the rice he is buying may be Vietnam, it may be the Philippines, it may be Singapore, but his variety is the Egyptian variety. Egyptian rice is not necessarily in principle grown in Egypt, even if the most luxurious type of Egyptian rice is the rice that is grown. The Kahlia governorate in Egypt is Egyptian rice. How do I know the quality of Egyptian rice? The first thing is that if we are close to rice, we must go online before we buy rice, especially loose rice. We must see the percentage of complete grains and the percentage of broken rice. I mean, what is the percentage of broken rice? For whole rice, the more broken the rice is, the more the grade of the rice, I said, and therefore its price should remain low, because it will be offered more if it hurries me to eat. And it is very difficult to get any pepper out, because the percentage of breakage in it provides the starch content that comes out of it during the rice process. Egyptian rice is naturally high in its starch content, which is why it needs a certain craft during the cooking process, because it is most susceptible if it is kneaded into something important, which is also very necessary for us to know. Egyptian rice remains in a high percentage of weevils, meaning the rate of exposure and decay or being infected with weevils is very high. If we do not find weevils, it may be weevils. It was in the crop, or it was in the rice, and it was stored with ingredients that were suitable for the weevil insect, and therefore we will not see neither the insect, the dead insect, nor the insect that lived. But we will see that it is very important. Eli is white powder. If I hold the rice with me, and after I hold it I find the white powder in my hand, far from the egg powder there is evidence of the presence of licorice. It was present in the rice and licorice. He had enough of the rice evaporated, or they made it a steaming process. The fumigation process is to put the entire crop in a place like a warehouse like this, and I work by releasing a specific vapor from a specific pesticide which is effective in expelling weevils. The weevils are expelled, but the white powder that is the result of the weevil's penetration of rice. The weevil must dig into the rice in order to feed on the starch contained in it, and therefore it burrows into the rice and eats the rice, resulting in a white powder that remains present in the crop. If I touched the rice like this and found a white powder in it, it would remain a clear indication of the presence or infection of the rice with lichen. What is the seriousness of this issue? The weevil is naturally produced. Just like any living organism, it produces the waste that the weevil insect produces. Its fungi intrude on it or grow on it. These fungi remain extremely dangerous to public health. Unfortunately, the substances produced by these fungi are not affected by heat and therefore remain an inherent danger to public health. Okay, there is something very important that we know about rice. If it is going to take water with me, will it cook with me quickly and take the exact amount of water? Won't he be with me much anyway? And it begins, as we say in colloquial language, it will not get wet or remain dry. No matter how much water you bring to him, he will drink it, and he will not water it in rice. Where is the rice from? Interested rice. It is the rice that takes up a lot of water. What do you mean opaque rice? There are many types of rice. Egyptian rice has many types, but fine rice is good. I mean, the rice remains crystal in color. What does it mean, crystal in color? I mean, its color is Nile white if it is transparent. I mean, if we hold the rice like this, we feel that we can see what is behind it. You feel that its body is a little glass, or a little frosted glass. I mean, you feel that this rice is a little crystalline. Every time I see rice, I see a grain of rice. I find it transparent or inclined. It is transparent. This indicates that this rice is good, luxurious, or of a good variety, and I can buy it and it will not torture me during the peeling process. The second thing is that rice in Egyptian rice remains thin and long, and rice in rice remains a little shorter in the grain and betrays the rice from the middle. White, and you find it a little white and somewhat dark. It is not very dark, but a little dark white, and its grain is thinner and a year longer than the rice that we know. This is rice imported from the Philippines, and it needs a caliber that is a little higher than the caliber of rice, a little higher than the Egyptian rice, which we are used to cooking, so we must add a little in the caliber of rice, and also Egyptian rice, which means it does not have a very good result in soaking, unlike Basmati rice, as we will talk about it a little later. So we talked about Egyptian rice and how to choose it. and how to know if it is taken together or not, and if it is taken in quantity, a slightly larger amount in water during the ripening process. This Egyptian rice remains a caliber type. Rice varies from type to type during the cooking process, but the correct caliber is that I immerse the rice in 100% at a height of half a centimeter. This means that I can still see the rice under the water. As for what remains, put it in the oil or put it in the fatty substance, whether fat or oil, and then add the water, so that the water submerges the PP rice by approximately a half certain. At the same time, I must make sure that the water I put in is fairly hot or warm water in order to give me the result of the pepper rice that you do not have. As for Basmati rice is the type of rice from its country of origin, India and Pakistan. Basmati rice is two types. Very large, the type whose color remains a little dark, tending to yellowing. The type is called the Mezza or Silila type. Basmati rice, Mezza or Silila, and this is a word in the language, the word Silila in the Hindi language. This means that the boiled rice remains Basmati rice, which is the first rice. Boiled Basmati rice is plain, not white. Why is the rice first boiled and the dish boiled? They boil it. After that, after climbing, they are exposed to an aeration process in the sun in order to get rid of the starch present in it. That's why the starch content and Basmati secretion is much less than the feminine content in Egyptian rice. After they boil it and spread it in the sun for long periods, they expose it to a process called the process of eating. This is the first thing that we must keep in mind when buying Basmati rice or rice. The reason is that I have to buy a crop that is a crop from previous years, because Basmati rice does not eat fresh. It cannot be this year's crop, nor even last year. I mean, for example, now, if we are in the year 2017, it will be the first rice that you can eat or consume it. It will remain cropped in 2004. Before that, Basmati rice was not susceptible to aging or storage for long periods. It can last up to 10 or 15 years too if it is stored well, and everything that is redeemed and everything that is stored for long periods, everything that is tasted with the spices you add to it, it is naturally better. Saila rice or Mezza rice requires a larger water caliber during cooking than Egyptian rice, and this depends on the soaking process or not. If I soak the rice, it is preferable if I soak the Basmati rice before the ripening process, and this allows me to consume less water during the ripening process. Ripening, which is that I immerse it in water after it also, that is, I add spices to it because it is the type of rice with my characteristics. It likes cinnamon or spices, and it is possible to put 2 grains on it and so on. Gulf in general, and it is the best type with which we can make kapsa without being tribal. It needs a little because it has previously been boiled, as we said, but we must keep in mind that if we buy Basmati rice, as we said, we buy rice that will last for a while because aging is what makes it possible. It gives us a smell and taste during ripening, especially if we put mild spices in another variety that we do not have today, which is white Basmati rice, white rice, which is our brothers in the state of Iraq, and the brotherly al-Shaqib, which is our brothers in the country. They call it amber rice, and the group in Pakistan, they call it Peshawar rice. It is rice that I painted, but it was not boiled and worn out, and therefore the rice remains the same as the Egyptian rice that is harvested. After that he cooks, but the white Basmati rice needs a little craftsmanship in the cooking process because he prefers that he climb rather than cook it, meaning he climbs, meaning he treats pasta. Largely because we have a good result. Of course, spices such as cinnamon, cloves, kek plant, roses, etc. are added to it. This gives it a very, very good flavor. So today we talked about 3 very, very important types of rice. Egyptian rice and Basmati rice of all kinds, whether Basmati rice, Mezza rice or Sira. And this is one type, by the way, where Mezza, or this basket, this is called the Need. Unity, which is rice that has previously been boiled and matured for a long time, rice that is washed, or white Basmati rice.